I'm still admitting people.
Okay.
This isn't
Yeah, I know. But can everybody hear me at least?
You,
I
Very
can hear
well.
you, but you're breaking out.
yeah.
Why don't you go to Steve's house?
There you go.
Amy, let me know when you're ready and I'll switch the host over to you.
I swear I upgraded my internet. I promise I did. Okay, hold on just a second.
Feels like the first day of spring.
Beautiful day out here.
Gorgeous.
It soon will be. How are you feeling today, Gail?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Excellent.
Excellent.
I kind of think, you know what, when you have a 3.5-hour surgery and you walk out of the hospital an hour later without any pain meds, something went.
Betcha.
Very well. Yeah. That's
Called a
great.
super job.
Well, I think we
Wow,
lost.
that's a big cut, Rachel.
Oh yeah, lots of coffee.
Steve, are you going to show us your tattoo or no?
Sure. I don't know how it's going to come over, but there you go.
Holy gee.
Woo!
Ooh, that's a big one.
And then, see the one right there?
There you go.
Wheel, right?
There
The
we
rotary
go.
wheel.
Very nice.
Here comes Amy back in. And then I'll pass with the host.
Okay.
All right, Amy, I'm going to make you host now. Okay.
Okay. Start my video. I switched to a different device. I hope it works better.
Way better.
That's better.
Sounds better, yeah.
All right. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to the March 9th edition of the Bowmanville Rotary Club.
Is this really fuzzy for?
Uh-oh.
Am I still fuzzy?
No, you're
Good.
Oh, you're
Keep
good.
going.
So welcome, everybody. I'm admitting people still as well. I want to just convey how excited I am for this International Women's Day, for this to be the first meeting that I'm sort of at the helm, shall we say. So as the incoming president, it's very exciting for me. So thank you for that. We're going to start with our welcomes. I can see that 2 guests, I may be wrong, but I can see Morgan and Yvette just joined. I'm not sure if I'm missing anybody.
Oh, Lisa Davenport's joined us.
Oh, Lisa, welcome, Lisa. So,
Amy, it's Wayne here.
yes, Wayne.
My granddaughter, Leah Calistine, and my daughter, Christine Calistine, are joining us this morning.
Excellent.
Just
Thank you
wanted
so
to let you know, and I'm really pleased about that.
Thank you so much, ladies, for taking time to be with us this morning. So we're going to start with our toasts. So to Her Majesty the Queen,
Queen.
to Bowmanville Rotary Club and Rotary International.
Rotary.
Club, Rotary International.
I'm going to take one step out of the femaleness of this morning, and only because I have the opportunity, I want to give a toast to our President Steve Kay, who has been leading us through this with grace and doing a fantastic job. So to Steve.
Steve.
I'd like to now ask Rachel for our invocation.
On this International Women's Day, as we celebrate and give thanks for the achievements of women, we remember the women who have played a part in our lives, those that nurtured us, taught us, inspired us, and loved us. those that forgave us when we limited women through inequality, by stereotype, by exclusion, or by lack of opportunity. On this International Women's Day, as we acknowledge the challenges women still face, we pray that all women may know equality of healthcare, of education, of wealth, and of prospects. We pray that all women may know themselves to be respected, safe, included, and empowered. Amen.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Hey, I did that.
Now we have a special segment this morning, which not that we don't do community reports, but I think this one's going to be extra special for today. So I'm going to ask Leah. I'm not sure if she needs to share her screen or how to do that exactly, but.
Sure, I do. I will share my screen. Amy, I'm not sure if you have to allow me, so let me just try it first and we'll see if I can bring this up.
Perfect.
Okay. Sorry, mine's just frozen on my end. Can everybody hear me for a second?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Today's community report will look a bit different than what we've normally seen at our meetings. Instead, in celebration of International Women's Day, I've put together just a small snapshot of the history of women in Rotary and a closer look at our own club. Sorry, my screen is frozen here.
I'm thankful it's not just me.
There we go. You know what? It's catching up, but I'm afraid it may skip to a couple slides. So we'll see how this goes. As we know, a top priority for Rotary is growing and diversifying our membership to ensure we as a club reflect the community in which we serve. So Rotary International is creating an organization that is more open and inclusive, fair to all, builds goodwill, and benefits our communities. We want members with different perspectives and ideas who will help Rotary create the lasting change within our community. And I must say, from the short time that I've been involved with the club, I am very impressed with our own club's values surrounding diversity, inclusion, and equity. Okay, so a quick look back on some important timelines surrounding how far Rotary International has come over the decades in terms of the inclusion of women in Rotary. And I've highlighted a few significant periods in time starting in the 1980s. However, would be remiss if I didn't point out that there were decade-long efforts of men and women from around the Rotary world that really advocated to allow women into Rotary clubs leading up to the dates listed. So as you can see, over the past few decades, there has been a tremendous growth surrounding the inclusion of women, not only in membership, but also in taking on elected roles in Rotary International, all of which has been reflected within our own club. And as of 2020, the number of women Rotarians worldwide surpassed 277,000. So taking a closer look at our own female membership within the Bowmanville Rotary Club, currently there are 16 female members, all of which are listed on the screen before you, some of whom have start dates reaching as far back as the early 1990s, and some, including myself, who have only just recently joined within the last few months. So leading up to today's meeting, I put a call out to some of our female members to share a bit of their history, including why they joined, some of the committees or roles they've been involved with over the years, and one of the favorite things that they enjoyed most about being a Rotarian. So thank you to the ladies who are featured on the screen, who shared some interesting facts about what the club means to them. Out of consideration for time, I've summarized many of the responses, but overall, our members want to give back to the community, not only supporting locally, but from a global perspective. Fellowship is very important, having the opportunity to work and to get to know like-minded people, and of course, the importance of the Rotary four-way test. So over the years, our female members have been involved with various committees, if not all, and have held various elected positions within the club, too many to list in detail. However, I should point out in terms, as mentioned earlier on our meeting, our upcoming presidency includes Amy Barney, the current president-elect for the incoming 21-22 term, and Rachel Boyd, who is president-elect for the 22-23 term. So I think that is, let me just get back here. So I'd like to just start and share a couple stories that some of the ladies did share with me. In particular, Pauline Calvert, who is one of our longest standing female members, having joined the club on March 1st, 1992. So Pauline has served on many committees and held various positions over the years, including past president. But one story that stood out to me that really exemplifies Pauline's strength is when she visited a Rotary Club while in Bermuda on vacation. And when arriving at the club to attend the meeting, Pauline was told by members that they did not allow women at their meetings. So Pauline said very matter-of-factly she was sorry to hear that, but as Rotary International had a legal mandate to allow women members, that she would in fact be attending their meeting. And after what was a bit of a rocky first start in terms of introductions, a great meeting was had. And she was actually invited out to lunch by several of the members afterwards. So thank you, Pauline, for standing up for your rights. I think it really does show how far Rotary International has come in terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Another story was shared by Amy, and Amy was very familiar with what Rotary stood for, as her grandfather was a Rotarian in Walkerton, where she grew up. Amy's father was quite ill when she was younger, and the local Rotary Club helped Amy's family by assisting with travel to and from her father's medical appointments, which left Amy having very much respect for the impact that Rotary clubs can have within a community. Amy also shared an interesting story that when her email was hacked just a few years ago, soliciting money from her entire contact list, it was actually her fellow Rotarians that she heard from first, asking if she was okay and if they could help in any way. So it really emphasized to me the strong ties that are created among Rotarians. Overall, our female members enjoyed working together on various events and committees, the exposure to different organizations within the community, and also to find it very empowering to be around some of the best thought leaders and forward-thinking people within our community. So thank you again, ladies, for sharing what Rotary means to you, and I look forward to when we can officially meet in person. So we know that our ability to expand our reach into the community is much larger when people work together, which is why diversity, equity, and inclusion are so important. As we celebrate International Women's Day, perhaps this is a good opportunity to reflect on our accomplishments to date and to also look ahead at some of the opportunities in which we can continue to grow and diversify our club to reflect the community that we serve. That's it. I'll pass it over to you, Amy.
That was excellent, Leah. Thank you so much. And honestly, the Rotarians, you guys amaze me every day. So I'd like to pass it over now to Pauline, who's going to do our birthdays and anniversaries.
Yes, President-elect Amy. We have no birthdays this month. Well, this week. Seems March is a pretty weak month for birthdays. But Brad Phillips and Christine are celebrating their wedding anniversary on March 12th. And we have a celebration of Gail Nyberg giving us 2 years of Rotary service. Thank you, Gail.
Excellent. Thank you, Pauline. While I've got you there, I think you are now going to introduce our speaker today who is the Executive Director of Girls Incorporated.
That's right. Okay, today we have a very special guest visiting us. Yvette Nechvatal-Drew is the Executive Director of Girls Inc. Yvette is going to talk to us about this organization. Through Yvette's leadership, dedication, and diligence in all that she is and all that she does, she has been nominated for several awards over the years, several times the Women of Distinction Award, and she has received the Friends of Health Award and Toastmaster International Communication and Leadership Award. She does all of this and more, being a mother of 2 adult children, Natasha and Braden, both strong feminists. Yvette has been a resident of Ajax for over 40 years. It's such a pleasure to welcome Yvette to join us today.
Thank you so much. I'm going to share my screen and hopefully, can everyone see this?
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, like our amazing opportunity to come here and speak to you today at the Bowmanville Rotary. My name is Yvette Nechvatal-Drew, and I am the Executive Director of Girls Incorporated of Durham. We inspire girls to be strong, smart, and bold. We do that through advocacy, education, and programs. We believe that all girls are experts, and we rely on them to tell us about the realities of their lives, their goals, and their experiences. Every man, woman who's ever achieved greatness had somebody who believed in them. And for thousands of girls right here in Durham, it's the people that they meet at Girls Inc. who make that difference in their lives. I wanted to take a moment today, as we were honoring International Women's Day, to honor all of the women in your and my lives that have worked hard and has sacrificed so much for us to be here. I'm talking about our great-grandmothers, our mothers, aunts, a neighbor, maybe a teacher, a friend, a fellow Rotarian, a sister. All these are unsung heroes who generation after generation have built a foundation for us today. We stand on their shoulders and we must pay it forward. Our success belongs to them of having a bigger vision, giving us an opportunity to who we can become today. It's important to review the status of women, not only here in Canada, but globally. The work that we do at Girls Inc. is so important because it addresses many of these issues. Did you know that women make up the majority of the world today? We're 51% of the global population. But did you know that women also make up 70% of the world's poor and 80% of the world's refugees? We own 1% of the world's financial assets and earn 10% of the world's income, but we also perform 2/3 of the world's work. Throughout history, women have fought persistently to come out of the shadows, to organize for change and make their voices heard. We've come a long way battling stereotypes in the media, but sometimes they still persist. And we know that even though things have changed drastically over the years, we can see how COVID has disproportionately impacted women in our community. In Canada, children and young adults are exposed to over 6 hours of media a day. We know in a climate of 24-hour media cycle of infotainment and reality television, it's become predominant communicator of our cultural values, our gender norms, telling us who we can and cannot be. And this has compounded since online learning and the need for devices continues to grow and especially utilized during COVID. Magazines like 17 magazine, average reader is 11 years old. And it's interesting to see that 70% of the content, the editorial content for tweens and teens of magazines focuses on their appearance, beauty, and fashion. Less than 12% make up to talk about careers and their future aspirations or school. Girls Inc. have really not seen people depicted in media who are beautiful and diverse of all sizes. And studies have shown that looking at fashion magazines for just 3 minutes lowers their self-esteem by over 80%. Girls with low self-esteem are more likely to be bullied, turn to substances, risky behaviors that can turn into negative outcomes, such as teen pregnancies, absenteeism, poor grades, and loss of direction. In a 2010 survey, half the girls age 8 to 18 stated that they had a television in their bedroom. Today, the average age of getting your first cell phone has moved. In 2010, the age was 18 years old. To 2018, it was 7. Through media, young people are told and sold the concept that women and girls' values lie in their youth, beauty, sexuality, and not in their capacity to contribute or be a leader. The images girls and young women are exposed to portray women as catty, manipulative, vindictive, on display for judgment or objectification. And the constant drive to be popular, to be liked as an end goal. Continuously seeing these images and messages where girls feel like they don't measure up links to the 3 most common mental disorders and problems that are facing our girls today: eating disorder, anxiety, and depression. Our Girls and Girl program give girls the skills to build on their strengths, to look at all the things they have to offer by giving them an opportunity to be wonderful leaders, to take risks, to fail, to learn from their mistakes, and give them a glimpse of what they can become. Our programs make sure that girls don't equate their self-worth with their appearance. We give them a language and lists of assets and skills, confidence, determination, and talents. Today, we're 51% of the global population, 51% of the Canadian population, and I believe if we hold up half the sky, we should manage at least half the world. Looking for corporations and funders, we tell and we know that we are your bottom line. Did you know that women are responsible for 83% of all consumer products bought in North America today? We're not a niche market, we are the market. When people ask me what I do for a living, I tell them that I help girls and women take over the world. But the Girls Inc. vision is not limited to improving the lives of just girls that we serve. We strive to contribute to the betterment of our society by ensuring that these young women are awakened to become strong, smart, and bold individuals of our community. You know the big issues and inequalities that are facing women and girls today, from unequal pay, discrimination in the workplace, sexual harassment, high numbers of teen pregnancies, violence against women and girls. But Girls Inc. has some of the best programs designed to improve all these statistics. Girls Inc. has been instrumental in providing solutions with our international research-based programs in a girl-centered environment that's delivered by expertly trained facilitators. Our programs give girls skills and tools to see themselves as change agents, to take action, to become philanthropic, to make a change in our community. All that is ingrained in our curriculum. As a mother of a strong, smart, and bold young woman, and a feminist young man, I am an enthusiastic advocate for her, for our equitable society, for thousands of girls just like her. And we need your support in order for this to happen. We need community investment and support. We need men as allies for interventions to address attitudinal biases, and any drive toward gender parity arguably starts with the efforts of changing entrenched, widespread attitudes about women's roles. This will require all of us to play a part to help drive home the idea that a larger number of women participating in our society socially and economically benefits the progress for us all. I ask you that you help us continue to make a difference in the lives of hundreds of girls by just reaching one girl at a time. If you're interested in volunteering, learning more, please join our social media connections. But I think more importantly is to hear from the girls that we've impacted. Morgan Kool is an awesome, strong, smart, and bold alumni. She was a Girls Inc. girl who attended our program since she was 12 years old. And in 2017, she was awarded a $5,000 scholarship from Girls Inc. to pursue a degree at Ryerson University in engineering. She's here with you today to share with you the impact that Girls Inc. had on her life. Take it away, Morgan.
Thanks so much, Yvette. I guess I'll start when I was a 12-year-old girl. Before I started my journey at Girls Inc., I hadn't quite hit puberty. Used to go to school in clothes that I didn't like but felt I had to wear, and of course was greeted by my closest childhood friends who teased me and continuously commented on everything I hated about myself. Sound familiar? My name's Morgan Kool, and I can tell you that feels pretty bad, and a lot of the women in the room probably know what I'm talking about. It was a time when I stopped participating in many, if not all, extracurricular activities and was anxious in pretty much all social situations. I didn't feel very good about myself, and I felt I couldn't be myself even in front of my closest friends. Unfortunately, this is the case for most, if not all, girls. Girls Inc. has been an important part of my life since I was 12 years old when I first attended the Whitby camp as counselor in training. I was immediately hooked and absolutely loved it. That fall, I took my newfound self-worth and applied it to my everyday outlook on life. My mom to this day can remember me saying that I would rather be alone than with the kids that made me feel like I couldn't be myself, which honestly was a drastic change from the previous year. Girls Inc. gave me the confidence to walk away, and within a short amount of time, I found new friends, new interests, and a new self-confidence I never thought that I'd have. Over the next few years, I attended camp, took part in Girls Zone meetings, and other programs such as conferences and many iconic Girls Inc. Christmas parties. When I first started at Girls Inc. programming, I was a shy, self-conscious kid with severe social anxiety and struggled with self-advocacy. The supportive, encouraging staff and engaging programs helped me become the outgoing, welcoming, and confident person I am today. Girls Inc. also helped equip me with tools for success in all aspects of my life, from mental health to confidence to determination. A good example of this is their girl-focused take on sex education. Did you know that when I was in high school, I can't recall ever hearing the concept of consent until Girls Inc. programming? Girls Inc. was a safe space to discuss anything and everything. I learned how to take initiative and become a fearless leader. I know that self-confidence and changes in perspective definitely don't happen overnight. By having sustained exposure to Girls Inc., I was constantly pushed to think harder about stereotypes and defy them in order to take charge of my life and set goals and work towards achieving them. As I grew as a young woman, I had access to Girls Inc., which was a constant positive influence, and that over time made me a more positive, capable, and confident person. Today, I'm 20 years old in my third year of studies at Ryerson University for biomedical engineering, working my two dream jobs as both a 3D printing lab tech and an entrepreneur. Old family friends are continuously shocked at how the anxious, quiet kid I used to be turned into a confident woman who makes her voice heard even when others refuse to listen. I can tell you for a fact that my story would be absolutely completely different if it weren't for Girls Inc. programming and staff. I'm consistently inspired by the amazing work they do for the community and especially young girls. Most of all, I'm honored to give back to such an amazing cause that gives girls the tools and support to become strong, smart, and bold women. Thank you.
Wow,
Awesome.
that's incredible. What a great organization. And Morgan, as a mother of a 16-year-old girl, it's inspirational what you've done with your life, and good for you, and good luck going on in the future.
Thank you.
I think we have time for a few questions. I can't see everybody, so if you can speak up if you've got any questions. Pauline, do I see? No. Oh, Chris Tadula, you're muted.
Sure, I always ask a question, you know me.
Okay.
Yvette and Morgan, there's a lot of men here. What's your message to us?
Well, I think men are our greatest support and greatest allies, right? And so I think that making and supporting your daughters, your sisters, your aunts, your friends in helping young women have an opportunity to have their voices heard and opportunities for them to participate at the table. So I think that we have, I believe we have 4 amazing, strong, smart, and bold men that are on our board. We have a lot of volunteers that volunteer that are men as well. And so, we don't live in a silo, we live in an inclusive community. And so definitely you are an advocate and a part of the solution of women living in an equitable society.
Yeah, definitely. And especially if you have daughters or wives or sisters, literally any of the important women in your life, like a key example of how you could support them is literally just let them know that they have your support. Like if you have a wife who has a career, then just let her know, like, hey, I just wanted to let you know that you have my support with your career aspirations and goals. And, I'm here behind you. Like, whatever you need, let me know. And your daughters, let them know that they can be anything they want. Expose them to STEM from a young age and say, hey, this is something you could totally do. And encourage them to try new things and encourage them to participate, I guess, in just conversations in general. Because a lot of the time, like even in family conversations, women typically, especially young girls, don't get a seat at the table. They're typically just listeners. Ask them questions, keep them involved in the conversation. It's just really simple things you can do to just kind of make them have a more engaged role in a lot of things they typically wouldn't. And you don't notice these things until you're looking, right? So I guess it's the biggest thing you could do.
Chris, you had a question?
Yeah, I had a question for Yvette. In your presentation, you mentioned that some of the publications for women, like 17, contain articles and information that lowers women's self-body image. And I guess my question is, why is that so? And why do women buy these magazines?
Well, I think it stems back to societal norms and expectations. And we know that from the time that you have a little girl versus a little boy, a lot of the media messages that are out there are encouraging girls to sit back, observe, watch, be pretty, and not participate. And even if you look at birthday cards, I remember just grabbing a few birthday cards and even little onesies for t-shirts. The messages aimed at boys is to be strong, to climb, to take risks, to be active. Even commercials, we have a media literacy program where we look at the messages that are on just in commercials. Over 80 to 90% of the commercials show men outside being active, participating, doing something, while women are in a participatory, observant role. So they're watching, observing, and not taking an action. And so at a very young age, women and young girls are told that likability is the end goal. So for you to like me is the most important. And so we tend to accommodate and not communicate and maneuver in a way to be accepted, while young men are told that their voice matters and are given an opportunity to sort of speak. And so that is what is self-perpetuated, that if you walk into Shoppers Drug Mart, you don't see that 2/3 or more of Shoppers Drug Mart is directed at myself on what's wrong with me and what product there is to fix it. And so I think that those are some of the messages that we're constantly digesting, and therefore what we've heard when we did our Girls Dilemma and a study where we interviewed over 2,500 girls from grade 9 to grade 11. What we found and what we heard from them is that it was called the Supergirl Dilemma, that they felt that the messages that they have received from society, from peers, from magazines, from social media told them that they're not enough. So they're not smart enough, they're not a good enough friend, they're not pretty enough, their likability had a huge impact. And as they entered into puberty, had a huge impact on what we call the internal dialogue, the thing you tell to yourself when you're alone or quiet or reflecting in a mirror. And so there has been a voice, as like I said before, women are the large consumer market, and we've seen where they embrace positive body image, positive messages like the Dove campaign had increased their sales by 280%. And so now actual brand carriers are actually seeing that by being more inclusive, listening to women's voices, actually are changing products and are changing what the contents are in magazines and in their media campaigns. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thanks. Yes.
Excellent. Oh, Pauline, I think we have time for maybe one more. You're muted, Pauline.
This is not a question. It's a comment. It's something I'm probably, I think, maybe the oldest woman on the call this morning, but I live in a community where everyone is 55 or older, and there's almost 2,000 of us here. There's many activities. There's a board of directors, and what I have found as women get older, they become the dominant organizer. On the board of directors that I'm on, there's 11 of us, only 1 male, 10 women. Most of the activities that are around here are, you know, I would say a good part of them are women that are organizing them. So what is it that happens in society that women keep getting stronger and stronger, and women and men sort of sit back?
Well, I think it really depends on where you are in your life. So I am proudly part of that cohort. So Pauline, I'm right here with you. I think what happens, and I see that as well within my own family section, as my husband and you tend to enter your 60s, you're thinking of winding down. You have contributed, you had success in your career, you participated in your community. I, as a woman, had put my family and had put a lot of other people in and ahead of me. So I took care of my children. I took care of my parents. I did elder care, and continue. COVID has had a huge impact on my life in being able to sort of having to manage all those worlds and work full time and help unfortunately my parents to pass away during COVID, and taking care and honoring their wishes of end of life. So we take an active role, and which sometimes then precludes us in living our aspirations in our world that we wanted to do. And so now my husband's talking about retiring and enjoying life, and I'm like, I feel like I'm starting. And so I am excited to take on new roles. I'm busier than I have ever been. I too am part of a lot of boards, as well as an executive director and volunteer in the community. And so I think that may be a reason why we have so much to still give and want to participate. And I think that it's an exciting opportunity to be alive, to participate in those areas.
Excellent.
I think men have actually learned in time, and that's why they suddenly have this phrase, happy wife, happy life.
I don't know. I think I prefer happy spouse, happy house, but.
Yvette, it's Wayne here, and I'd just like to share with you, and I had mentioned earlier that our granddaughter, Leah, had joined the meeting, and she worked for Girls Inc. last summer.
That's awesome.
So I just wanted to let you know that.
I think that it's amazing to have Girls Inc. girls who have come up through, and like we say, one of the sort of secret recipe or secret sauce is sustained exposure. So getting them when they're 6, keeping them all the way through until they're 16. And then I believe it was before, obviously, COVID, because we did all of our programming online in 2020. But in 2019, we had 7 summer camp counselors of the 35 that we had that were previously Girls Inc. girls, which is incredibly exciting. They've gone on to Teachers College and social work and post-secondary education to become camp counselors in the summer. And so we really enjoy to be able to sort of see them grow into, and a large number of them are first generation and going on to post-secondary education. So dreaming beyond their dreams and seeing, we believe if you can see it, you can be it. And so exposing them to women in so many different occupations, and also men as well, exposing them to all kinds of opportunities. I was raised by my father. We escaped and immigrated from the Czech Republic. English was a second language. I came early enough that I don't have an accent, but he worked very, very hard and had his own business and really encouraged me in non-traditional fields. And I did go into neurobiology and had a degree and taught high school and was a midwife and lactation consultant and administrator of a federally funded prenatal nutrition program that Girls Inc. still now administers. And so I think that one of the things that we know is that when we invest in girls and we give them the skills and tools, what we want to do is we want to divert them for becoming pregnant, having mental health issues or anxiety issues or eating disorders or substance use issues by giving them the skills, the community of support, and the structure for them to feel like they can be anything that they can be.
Well, I think we could probably spend a lot more time on this, but I'm going to ask Lisa just to give a thanks to you, ladies.
Thank you.
Is Lisa here?
Thank you guys for having us.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh.
So Yvette, I just wanted to say thank you for joining us this morning. I found your talk very inspirational. You do amazing work. I looked on your website actually this morning prior to the meeting, and you had talked about creating she heroes. You certainly have, and I know you will continue to do so in the future. So again, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to be with us. And I would also like to extend to you a donation from our club to help you continue the great work that you and your organization does.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. And to let you know that, more than 85, actually, I think we're at 89%, 89 cents of every dollar that's donated goes directly to our girls in our programming. So thank you so much for that.
Excellent. Also, I'm going to let Steve just pop in for a second as the president of the club for all of our speakers. There's a donation that's given. I'm going to let him explain it a little bit better for you.
Sure. Thanks, Amy. There's a student-led program at Bowmanville High School that's really focused on mental health awareness and support. So what we've done is to thank all of our speakers, we've funded a care kit that the students are putting together to give out to their fellow students who are in need. Little things in it like stress balls and treats and various journals, that sort of stuff that might just help them get through and be a sign that people are there to support them. So one of those has been, one or more of those have been donated to students on your behalf.
Excellent. So Morgan and Yvette, you're more than welcome to stay on the call with us if you'd like. We are almost getting to the end of our meeting. We're going to talk about a couple more female Rotarians in a moment, but if you have to leave, totally understood. But again, thank you for coming and sharing with us this morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're going to just skip over Happy Bucks and come back to it if there's time. Let's go to Know Your Rotarian and learn a little bit more about Camille and Rebecca. Take it away, ladies.
Keep your videos going.
Rebecca, do you want to go first?
I think you're better at this stuff. Maybe you should go first.
It's not true. Okay. Rebecca and I got to talking and talked for an hour or so and got to really know each other. She's a lovely girl. I probably could have talked to her for hours, to be honest. But found out a few things about her. So she grew up in the Rouge Hill area. She got her archaeology degree from U of T, graduated there in 2017. She currently works at IBW Surveyors for Gord. Her title is production coordinator. Her main focus has been organizing project managers. Sorry, guys. Always wants to join. But recently she's been working on company acquisitions. So this role has led her to an interest in business, and she's recently been accepted in an MBA program. Oh my goodness. Sorry.
Phone call.
Don't be sorry.
She's recently been accepted in an MBA program at the University of Fredericton. It's a 2-year online program. She said she's had nothing but support from Gord in this pursuit, and he's really pushed her to go for it. She's really thankful for that. An interesting tidbit about her work, we got to talking about the Mayan ruins. My husband and I were there a couple of years ago, and I was telling her about how it was really cool that they were finding things that are still buried underground through oh my goodness, it's really attached to me, sorry. They were still finding things underground through like aerial technology and picture taking, and I thought that was really cool. And she said she's actually worked with similar things with her work with IBW, involving drones and lasers. I can't pretend that I know exactly how it works, but I thought that was really cool. So a big reason she joined Rotary is because of her grandmother. She's a fellow Rotarian with the Coburg Club. Rebecca knew that her joining this club was really, her grandmother was going to be really proud of that. So she made sure she was able to join when she got inducted, even though it was virtual. They like to talk Rotary and what their clubs are up to, and Rebecca loves having that to share with her grandmother. So right now she lives in Oshawa with her partner, Dan. Dan has actually recently gotten his dream job as a zookeeper at the Indian River Reptile Zoo. They met online 7 years ago. They have a 3-year-old Dachshund Yorkie mix named Jackson. On their spare time, they like to be in the outdoors, camping, kayaking, and hiking, and are huge reality TV show buffs. The cool stuff though, like Survivor and Big Brother. I asked Rebecca if Jackson can keep up with them when they go outdoors with their hikes and kayaking and all that with his tiny little legs. And she said that not only does he keep up, but he actually has a lot of energy to spare. I think talking to Rebecca honestly was perfect for today's talk because she has just achieved so much with her work, and she's at a place professionally that she's very excited about, but she wants more with the MBA, and she just went for it. So I think it was really great we got to talk. She's, I think, the embodiment of International Women's Day. She just knows what she wants and she just goes for it. So
excellent.
Thanks, Camille. That's hard to come up with. Thank you. That means that.
Well, you don't have the screaming baby, so you're good.
Okay. Yeah, like Camille said, we chatted for over an hour, and I got off the phone. I felt like I had known her for years. We clicked right away, and I felt like a lot of our interests and our history was so similar. So we had lots of joint interests, which was really interesting. It's really great to get that connection, especially via Zoom and phone calls with COVID right now. So when I talked to Camille right away, as we saw on the call, I asked tons of questions about her family and her son, Rohan. So her son, Rohan, is 2 years old. You saw him just then. He's absolutely adorable. Her and her husband, Gary, they have had a whirlwind relationship. So they met 10 years ago working at Canadian Tire in high school. She said that she went on one date with him and said, this isn't gonna work out. He's too much, he's too clingy, he's not what I'm interested in. And she kind of went away, and 10 years later they had reconnected. And she said, hopefully I get the numbers right, but she said within 4 months she had moved in with him. Within 5 months they were engaged. Within the year they were married, and then 1 month after that they had Rohan. So they just finished celebrating their 2-year anniversary. So I think it's such fate when you can meet someone who you just know. And who knows what would have happened if 10 years ago they decided to stay together, and they probably would have been together for 10 years now. So I thought it was a really amazing story here. Her husband Gary is a heavy duty mechanic for CN. So he works on trains, which is really neat. They live in Curtis, their family of 3. And but she spent 8 years living in like the North York Curtis regions. She lived in North Bay at one point in time, which was really cool. But she's originally from the Philippines. So she came to Canada in 1998. She was immigrated when she was 9 years old. And when she still lived in the Philippines, she lived with her grandparents. Her mother came to Canada to make a better life for her, which I think is incredible. And the woman you became, your mother is to thank for that. Her mom's actually a Rotarian, which I think is wonderful. So she joined Rotary 20 years ago, and she's in the Whitby Club. So she grew up with Rotary, so we're very similar in that aspect. She was like me, going to all the Rotary events, and it's in your blood. When you have family members who are Rotarians, you are raised a Rotarian. And she always knew that was something that she wanted to do. I also thought she went to school, so she's an undergrad in criminology at UOIT, and she originally thought she was going to do social work. She told me the story about how she's actually she works in insurance right now for the cooperators in Bowmanville, and she started there in 2017. But she told me the story how she landed her job at the cooperators, which I had joked with her at the time. I said, it sounds like something of a sitcom. It just was such a neat story. So she had just graduated university and she was working at as a waitress in a restaurant. And she served this lovely lady, and the lady came up to her at the end of her meal. And she said, you know what? You're such a bubbly, outgoing, personable individual. And I think you would do great at my company. And on the job, on the spot, offered her a position at the insurance company, which was right next door. And if that's not a testament to who Camille is, I don't think there is anything that could explain it better. She is so lovely. She's so bubbly. I was so nervous to have the call, and she was right there. She was talking me through it, and she's so personable. So yeah, and I think it's really telling that someone on the spot offered her a job like that. And then I kind of had asked her a little bit about her past history and things that she had done as a child. And she had told me that when she was younger, when they first came from the Philippines, there was this organization that they got involved with to find community within their local community. And she worked as in pageants. So she did some pageants when she was younger. And she was actually Miss Durham Filipino, which I think was really interesting. Yeah, and I think I got all of it. I could talk about her for forever. We talked, like I said, for over an hour. But just like she said, I think it was incredible to see another strong woman in our community. We're not that far in age, so we're really close. So it's nice to see someone who's young and successful and also loves to be another Rotarian. Yeah, and I think we have a friendship now, which I think is incredible. It's great to have someone in the club. So thank you, everyone, for allowing us to have that phone call.
That's fantastic, guys. I can't wait till we can actually get together in person again and, sit and have a meal and a chat. And little known thing about Camille is, if I'm correct, I believe she is a Paul Harris Fellow, because when we still were meeting and we had our 50-50 draw, she won, I think it was like, what, $1,400, Camille, and donated $1,000 to foundation.
It was 1,700.
It was.
I won and then I left.
That's right. Okay, I think we have a couple of minutes for some happy bucks, if there's anybody out there. Ellie, I see you. You're muted though.
Yes, I just want to say how happy I am that this special meeting today came to fruition. Johanna had this brilliant idea back in January and reached out to the ladies of the club. And today is the result of this. And I've totally enjoyed today's meeting. And it's nice to see all of us taking a step forward and taking charge, and the men helping us and supporting us. Thank you, Amy, for running the program today. And thank you, Johanna, for coming up with the idea, and all the ladies who were instrumental in making this success. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks, Ellie. Oh, Pauline? Yep.
Last night, I decided to send an email to the females of our club. And it wasn't until I started looking at the females in the club that the penny dropped. My goodness, we're almost a third of our membership are women. And never have I seen that before. And it just felt good, and it was such a good thing to discover on International Women's Day how much our club has grown. And thank you to the membership chairs the last couple of years that have made this happen, because never have I seen so many women in our club, and it is absolutely fabulous.
Pauline also shared that they used to get fined if you weren't wearing a tie. So I actually had a shirt and tie on today, but
that's true.
Are there any other happy bucks?
Joe?
I can't see anybody.
Joe?
Yeah, yeah, a big shout out to Johanna last night. Yeah, for those of you, I think it's been recorded, maybe on the district website. Johanna and a team, it was Johanna's vision to have an event for the district last night. And I and a few other of our members had the pleasure of logging in. She had 3 fabulous speakers, 2 of them Rotarians, another one who she works with. If you didn't get a chance to see it last night, you should take advantage of it because it was a great event. Thanks so much for doing that, Johanna. Yeah, and on a personal note, really happy that my wife has had her 2nd knee operation. Now has both new knees and can get back to her work as a strong woman working on her PhD at Trent University.
Good. I'm glad Juanita's doing well. Is there maybe time for one more happy back? I don't see anybody. Oh, Gord. Okay. You're muted, Gord.
I'm not anymore. I'm not. But I just wanted to point out that there's a new prospective member that's joined our meeting today. His name's Andrew, and I thought it'd be really nice if Andrew unmuted himself and said hello to everybody and with a 10-second introduction. I wouldn't restrict you to time though. Andrew?
I think we lost him just as you did that.
Oh, I scared him away.
Back in.
Is he back in?
I think so. Andrew, are you there? Andrew?
Oh, I'm looking.
Somebody's coming back in.
Yes, it is me.
There he is.
It's good to see you, God.
Thank you, Andrew, for coming.
Sorry, I kind of got in late and dashed out a bit to pick up a few things, and then I didn't realize it would take me longer than that.
Well, welcome, Andrew.
Andrew has been a Rotarian. I think I don't know exactly how we would describe that now. He's currently not a Rotarian, but would like to be again. I just would like everybody to welcome Andrew to the meeting and to our club.
Welcome, Andrew.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so
Nice
much.
to see you, Andrew.
Welcome. Thank you so much.
Come on in.
Okay.
Hope
So
we see you
moving
again, Andrew.
along. Yeah, moving along, we're going to take a few minutes for announcements. First of all, I want to remind everybody on the board that we have a board meeting on Thursday evening. Thanks to Steve for moving it from our traditional Wednesday, so Gordon and I can join. And I believe, Joe, you have an announcement?
Yeah, Ron Collis, his wife has been quite ill for a number of weeks. It looks like there has been some improvement. She's been in hospital, went in about 6 weeks ago, I think. I'm not going to get into describing what it is, but there is an infection in her body that she's having trouble fighting back. And he doesn't want flowers or anything like that. He really doesn't want to make a big deal. But I did want to let people know, if you just want to reach out to him, give him a well wish. He and his wife's name is Maureen. You know, as I say, no flowers, but it would be nice if people could just let him know that they're thinking about him and you know, lend your support. And as I say, it appears that things are improving, but improving slowly, and it's going to take a while. So I want to let people know about that.
Excellent. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks.
Is there any other announcements? I don't think. I would like to take a minute just to, again, thank Johanna for the suggestion and for giving me the opportunity to lead my first meeting. Hopefully I didn't make too many errors. I'm sure I'll make more than Steve does normally, but, but we'll get there. Yeah, so I'll pass it over now to Ellie, who has our quote of the week.
Thank you, everybody. This quote is one that was well before her time. It was from the late Clara Barton. She was the founder of the American Red Cross. And in 1881, She was quoted as saying, "I may sometimes be willing to teach for nothing, but if paid at all, I shall never do a man's work for less than a man's pay." And it holds true today.
Absolutely. Yeah. So again, thank you everybody for joining us this morning. I did see one meme yesterday that I thought was funny. If you can picture the traditional woman on a bathroom door, and then I saw it colored with a cape and it said, "See, it's not a dress at all." It was never a dress. It was always a cape. So thank you to all the women. As we end this, I don't have I'll work on something to end the meetings. I haven't got there yet, Steve. But I do have one thing to bring us back to our club. So if there's nothing else for the good of Rotary, I'll call this meeting adjourned.
Thanks, Amy.
Well done, Amy. Thank you.
Good job. Thanks, everyone.
That was great. Thank you. Thank you. Excellent.
Well done, Amy.
Great job, Amy, Johanna, everybody.
You can just close it off now, Amy.
Okay, hold on. Oh, end. Got it. All right. Thanks, guys.
See ya.